Hey everyone, sorry, itchy eye. Um, this will be my first review of the night. I've got some more reviews planned out for tonight. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing random reviews, but this first one is not random. Um, as you can see from the title, I am reviewing the Amityville Horror 2005. A lot of people hate this. A lot of people think it's an unnecessary remake, an unwanted remake. Some people say that Ryan Reynolds did not fit the part of George Lutz. I didn't mind the film. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. And a little history between this film and me. My dad took me to see this in the theater on opening day uh, as an early birthday present for me. Uh, and my birthday is in November. If people who are new to watching my videos, my birthday's in November, and I think this movie came out in August or September. I'd have to check. I won't leave it in the description though. But I'm not gonna go through what this film is about in depth. But pretty much, it's not a shot-for-shot remake. It goes by at a quick pace. So what this film is about, this family moves into this house in Amityville, Long Island, New York, and it's a pretty creepy house too. The house fucking has eyes in the mouth. Jeez. And it's considered one of the most haunted houses, one of the most famous haunted houses in film. Um, and so they move in, uh, and they get the house really cheap. And George, played by Ryan Reynolds, asks, uh, "Well, this house looks very, very expensive. Why are we getting it so cheap?" And the landlord says, "Well, the real estate agent says, well, there was a murder in this house a couple of years ago, and I figured we'd put it on the market real cheap." Uh, and uh, Kathy Lutz, played by, if I can find her name, Melissa George. Uh, she says, "Oh, there was a murder in the house," and George says to Kathy, "Well, we we could get past that and make it work, and we'd have to sell one of the kids, roughly the little one." And so there's some jokes in here, and I got a couple of chuckles out of some of them. Uh, so Ron Reynolds played a really good George Lutz. He starts off really nice, but over time he starts to get really, really violent. Um, it gets to the point where he's looks like he's about ready to kill one of the kids. Uh, he's making the kid hold pieces of wood on like a tree stump, and George just comes down with an axe really fast, and the kid's like crying, getting ready to cry, and uh, George grabs his face and he's like, "Listen, you will do as I say, and you will do it good. No crying." And I'm just like, oh shit. Like, I saw this movie before Van Wilder, and Ryan Reynolds creeped me out on it. Like, I was like, oh shit, is he really gonna hurt this kid? Uh, there are three kids. There's a little girl who ends up seeing Jody, who was the little girl who died at the beginning of the film. Not spoiling anything, like, it's right there at the beginning. In the original, I think she had like a pig head, like a pig mask. I don't remember much about the original, but apparently Jody had a pig mask, and I don't know. I remember the babysitter being way different. Um, it takes place in the 1970s, but it doesn't say what year in the 70s. Um, uh, the little girl is actually played by uh, what is her name? Um, Chloe Lynn Mortiz. Hopefully I said the name right. I might have messed up the name a little bit. Chloe Lynn Mortiz or Mortez. The same girl who plays Hit Girl in Kick-Ass. So I thought that was cool. There's a really suspenseful scene where she's all the way up on the house, up on the railing of the house, all the way at the top of the roof, and she's about to jump. And she's like, I want to be with daddy. And she jumps off, and luckily, George is there to catch her. And I'm just like, oh shit. This movie got ballsy with this remake. Having a kid jump off of a roof? I agree. Gives like a really suspenseful atmosphere. But then you've got jump scares. Like, there's a scene where a kid has to go to the bathroom real bad, so he goes pee, thankfully, in the toilet, and he washes his hands real fast, and then he gets scared, runs back to his room real fast, and then, but before that happens, he's turning, and I don't know if he sees it or not, but there's this like demon looking creature with blood coming down its mouth. Not very gory, but uh, blood running down its mouth. The eyes are pretty creepy. I think they're black. Not entirely black, but really enlarged pupils. Um, and also the the ghost doesn't do anything. It's either a ghost or a demon. And I thought it was a cool design, but what did that have to do with anything? Well, I guess the ending is definitely changed from the original. Uh, there happens to be a torture chamber under the house. That's all I'm gonna say. Uh, but I guess that's where the ghost comes from. Oh, and one thing they kept from the original, other than the title and the name of the characters, um, every night at 3:15 a.m., George Lutz goes and does some really strange stuff. Like, he wakes up at that time, and strange stuff occurs. And there's a point where he's in the bathtub, and fingers go, and first hands end up pulling him under the water, like, of the bathtub, uh, kind of reminiscent of Nightmare on Elm Street. Uh, and the fingers end up going into his stomach and ripping him pretty much apart, ripping his stomach apart. And I'm just like, ooh. But it happens so fast that it takes a while because you're like, what what just happened? Like it's a blink and you miss it type of thing. Um, and he gets out of the bathtub scared shitless, but when he's outside the house, he's perfectly nice, perfectly caring. So, what they decide to do to get away from the house, George Lutz and Kathy Lutz decide, you know what, let's have a date night. So they call up a babysitter. And this babysitter is one of the sluttiest babysitters I've ever seen. Uh, she's got like lipstick on. She's got like a shirt that's not really a shirt, but it looks almost like a bra, but I forget what they're called. I think they're called tube tops or whatever. Uh, it's like a shirt that's tied up. It's a leopard type of thing, but anyways, she's a really slutty babysitter, and I thought this was pretty cool. The kid, the oldest of the kids, happens to have a kiss poster, and the babysitter ends up sticking out her tongue and asks the kid, "Well, have you ever Frenched before?" And the kid's like, "What?" And she ends up like coming on to the kid, and I'm like, "What? Is there child molestation involved?" Because thankfully there isn't. And she ends up crawling over to him and being like kissing with tongue. And she ends up going into the bathroom and hitting a bong. And I'm just like, well, some kind of babysitter. And she ends up seeing a ghost, I think of Jody. She ends up going inside the closet to prove that there's no boogeyman inside the closet for the little kid that's afraid of the closet. She ends up going in, the door closes shut, and she can't get out, and she ends up seeing Jody right there in the corner of the closet, and she's trying to get out, which is reminiscent of the scene from the original, except for I thought the original was handled better. Uh, it's a girl with braces, like a really nerdy looking girl, and the lining of the braces end up falling, end up like coming out. The wires of the braces end up coming out of the teeth, and I'm just like, oh shit, that's pretty damn cool, but wow. And the girl can't get out of the closet, and they eventually get her out. The kids end up eventually getting her out, and uh, she, I forget what happens, but in this one, she ends up, the babysitter ends up going to the hospital, and she's got both her arms bloody fingers, and she's just scared, like shaking and everything. Oh, and before all this shit happens, she ends up telling the kids the story of why they got the house so cheap. Uh, and long story short, all the bad shit ends up happening. George ends up going crazy. Uh, there's no blood falling from faucets or anything, or coming out of the walls like most Amityville movies do. But I thought the remake was really cool. Overall, I give this film uh 8 out of 10. Like I can definitely watch this over and over again and not get bored. Um, And before anybody tells me, I already know this. The true story was proven to be incredibly false. George Lutz just wanted some money, so the family ended up saying, "Oh, he went crazy," just so they could get some money, some notoriety, and them saying the house is haunted in order to get money. Uh, and I'm just like, no. Well, that ruins the enjoyment of the movie. Proven to be false. Like, it would have gotten a 9 out of 10, but because of that, uh, the whole movie is false. So it's just a regular movie, so I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It would have gotten higher, but oh well. Uh, I will probably, and that's a big keyword here, probably review the original one. I do not own any of the originals, I only own this one. So 8 out of 10. Hopefully you all enjoyed this review, and stay tuned for another one. So this is Psychopath1c signing off. See ya!